Over the past 100 years, more and more immortals have ascended to the heavens, so countless strange and unknown things have appeared in the celestial realm. Unknowingly, social media, streamers, and more had appeared in the heavens. Today I was given so many gifts. I'm so excited, I'm even sweating. So why is it so hot today? The White Lotus Fairy muttered. If you're so hot, let's go to the station to cool off, suggested Karen Langoria. She was a police captain and liked to wear men's clothes, which often caused her to be mistaken for a man. Captain Langoria, I beg you to let me go this time. I promise you that I won't do it again. The White Lotus Fairy clung tightly to Karen's hand. The captain had caught her several times before for minor provocations. Fairy, you misunderstand me, mumbled Karen. Captain Langoria, I like you very much. I love you. Forgive me this time. The White Lotus Fairy asked again. Calm down first, and then we can talk to you, asked Karen, removing the girl's hands from her. Suddenly, the clothes on Karen's body shattered into small pieces. The girl guessed that the sword energy was out of her control. Boss, hurry up and get dressed. Eugene took off his outer clothes and threw them into Karen's hands. Karen hurriedly wrapped herself in Eugene's outer clothing. Still, time takes its toll. After hundreds of years, the magic of her sword had deteriorated, so it began to get out of control frequently. Pack her up, Karen ordered. Luckily, I prepared and bought some newfangled underwear. I spent almost all my savings on it. If it wasn't for that lingerie, I would have ended up naked in front of the fairy and her audience. Wait. Right. Frightened, Karen thought. White Lotus Fairy, didn't you turn off the broadcast? Weren't you really streaming? Now my reputation is definitely destroyed, Karen exclaimed. The next day, the entire newsfeed was abuzz with headlines about Police Captain Karen Langoria going completely naked in front of the camera on live TV. The fact that the White Lotus Fairy was arrested right during the broadcast was never mentioned. The inhabitants of heaven were surprised that the police captain turned out to be a woman. Many were sure that she was a man. The men who lived in heaven noted with delight that the police captain had a gorgeous body. Damn sword soul, what's wrong with her? Picked the worst possible time to show her temper, grumbled Karen, reading the news. Warden, it looks like you're being summoned to the Emperor because of this, reported Eugene. Of course, the Emperor didn't like the fact that a picture of me in my underwear appeared in all the news feeds. How I'm so sick of these silly gossips adding to the difficulties in life. Karen muttered in a disgruntled tone. You go on patrol and I'll go to the palace. Being a police captain meant ensuring the safety of the entire heavenly court. Needless to say, reputation plays a huge role in preventing future crimes among immortals. Karen was sure that she was stronger than anyone living in the heavens. No one had ever provoked Karen into a fight. Everyone knew that the girl was capable of easily investigating any crime against public order. Even the Emperor recognized her merits. Karen had been living in heaven for over 500 years. All this time, she had served in the police force, and no one controlled her. With her behavior, she had earned the trust of the Emperor and the heavenly subjects. Emperor, you know very well that you can't believe rumors. My sword aura is just corrupted. That's why such an embarrassment happened. I didn't intend to dance in front of the cameras in my underwear, said Karen, taking a seat on the floor. Sit properly. You are in the heavenly palace after all, ordered the Emperor. We are alone in your office. No one will see me sitting, mumbled Karen. Not only did the girl like to dress in men's clothes, she also had a stubbornly masculine temperament. It was hard to argue with her. She rarely compromised. This time, with your behavior, you've overstepped your bounds. And by the way, when will your sword aura become female? Asked the Emperor. I don't know. In my time, I tried absolutely everything, but nothing worked. I've prepared potions, used artifacts, yet the sword aura is still uncontrollable, replied the girl. If you can't control the sword aura, then the police captain will have to be replaced. In a smooth, calm voice, The emperor concluded. What do you mean replace? But I have worked hard for centuries for this position. Do you really want to fire me because of some pathetic gossip? Karen was indignant. You know very well yourself that the emperor must be impartial, and the police captain must be an example to the public. With that sword aura and your inability to control it, you could disgrace yourself at any moment. The emperor rubbed his face tiredly. Since the emperor is so impartial, I think I should learn from him. I want to remind you of one thing, mumbled Karen. The girl couldn't quit the police force for nothing. 300 years ago, I managed to visit the lavender tree that grows by the main gate. That day, I saw you sneaking up on a fairy and flirting with her. Should I report this to the Empress? You know, you're right after all. Dismissal is a bit excessive, but you have to promise me that you'll learn to wield your sword aura and it won't happen again. I even know how to help you, said the embarrassed Emperor. The Emperor assumed that Karen couldn't control her sword aura due to excess yang energy. He advised the girl to find an immortal to help her control the energy. To put it bluntly, Karen doubted it would help her. And what did the Emperor tell you? Eugene asked the girl. He ordered me to find an immortal for dual cultivation, replied Karen. You mean you'll be doing double cultivation? Eugene exclaimed in a loud voice. Don't yell like that, Karen said angrily, and threw Eugene aside with a single kick of her foot. After a while, a rumor spread across the heavens that Karen would be doing double cultivation. People began to poke fun at the girl and laugh at her. Double cultivation, you say? Good luck to you, Captain Langoria. The fifth prince exclaimed after noticing the girl. Karen really wanted to beat him to death, but that would have entailed a lot of trouble. The fairies were also coming up to Karen and offering their help. From all this attention, the girl quickly grew tired. Entering the police station, Karen lowered herself tiredly onto the couch. Captain Langoria, on the other hand, it's not so bad. You're beautiful, rich, and also have a good position. You could be said to be the first golden bachelorette in heaven. Why don't you want a relationship? Eugene asked the girl. It's not that I don't want to get married. It's just that I haven't met someone I'd love yet. Sighing heavily, Karen replied, Warden, what kind of man do you want? What do you expect from your marriage partner? Eugene inquired. He must be either stronger or more handsome than me. Either he will defeat me, or his face will be so handsome I won't be able to fight, replied Karen. Eugene pointed out that with such requests, she was unlikely to find a couple even in a couple hundred years. The Heavenly Emperor asked Karen to find an immortal to pair cultivate with. At the moment, the girl couldn't find a suitable candidate. Not knowing how to relax, Karen decided to join in patrolling the streets. While patrolling the streets, Karen spotted a young man who went to a restricted area. Hey, wait, where are you going? Shouted Karen to the man. The man turned around. Karen noted to herself that he was very handsome. He was reserved and modest. That's the most handsome man in the world. I wonder where this handsome man came from and why I've never seen him before, Karen thought to herself. Handsome man, may I ask if you have a partner for steamy cultivation? The girl asked, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear in a flirtatious gesture. The man gave Karen a disdainful look. Afterward, he turned and strode away. What a beautiful man. He will definitely be mine. I'll get him by all means. I'll use him to solve the sword aura problem, Karen decided. The man walked over to the pool that was located in the middle of the tomb and dove into it. What happened? Why did he jump in? The girl thought in surprise. At the same second, chaos began. From the speakers came the information that Police Captain Langoria had molested the deity and made him jump off the terrace of the dead. What? No, wait, it's not my fault! Screamed Karen. Warden, I hope it's not true after all. Otherwise you'll be in big trouble. In a confused voice, Eugene muttered, Well, why are you in some kind of trouble again? Why were you pestering that deity? That deity has been in seclusion for several hundred years. Today, it decided to return to the heavens. With a heavy sigh, the Emperor said, Well, how was I supposed to know that that handsome man is a deity that has lived for hundreds of thousands of years? And as long as he is stronger than the heavenly emperor, knowing who he really is, I wouldn't have dared to molest him. Karen thought to herself. Heavenly Emperor, I'm telling you the truth. I didn't force the deity to jump from the terrace of the dead. He did it on his own without saying a word. I am completely innocent, and I had nothing to do with his act, said Karen. Maybe you're right. You only ascended to heaven 500 years ago. You've never seen a deity. But we don't know for sure if you molested him or not. As punishment, you will be sent to Earth to bring the deity back to heaven. After thinking for a bit, the Emperor said, Where will I be sent? But I don't want to go to Earth. I'm fine here. Karen thought sadly. This punishment is too mild for such a misdemeanor, however. The Emperor remembers offenses well, so it's best not to pounce. The priests muttered in a displeased tone, but still agreed to the Emperor's order. Warden, and what has the Emperor decided? Asked Eugene as soon as Karen walked out of the Imperial Palace. It went even better than I expected. The Emperor sent me to the mortal world to help the deity return to heaven sooner. The Emperor is a good man after all, replied Karen. She tried to pretend that everything was fine. She wasn't sad or upset. Warden, are you saying you're going down to Earth completely alone? But it's very dangerous, isn't it? However, rest assured that we have faith in you. Go, we'll be waiting for you, Eugene exclaimed. Karen realized from the faces of her subordinates that they were glad that she was being sent to Earth. They would finally relax without the constant supervision of a superior. Karen guessed that they would be visiting bars and partying with fairies for days on end. When I get back, I'll give them a thrashing, Karen promised herself. Karen was led into the tomb to the terrace of the dead. There she was greeted by the warden Simeon. Even the Emperor dare not disturb the deity. It's very dangerous. You could have died, Simeon said to the girl. Simeon disliked Karen, as he had lent her some books a few years ago, which she soon lost. What bad luck to run into him specifically. And why does he still remember about those books? No matter how hard I try to reconcile with him, he still continues to dislike me, Karen thought to herself. Well, enjoy your trip back to Earth, Simeon exclaimed and pushed the girl into the pool. Simeon, I'll be back, and I'll definitely get back at you, screamed Karen. Through her sleep, Karen heard someone's excited voice. When she opened her eyes, she saw a man. He asked Karen to get dressed quickly and take the throne. Take the throne? But isn't that a man's occupation? Has Simeon moved me into a man's body? Frightened, Karen thought to herself. Karen touched her chest. Thankfully, it was soft there. She was still a girl. This news made Karen extremely happy. Your Majesty, stop touching yourself in different places. If it's revealed that you're a woman, it'll be the end of us and you, whispered Karen in the ear of the man who had woken her up in the morning. The girl guessed it was probably her assistant. I'm a girl after all. That can't help but make me feel good. Simeon isn't as crazy as he might seem at first glance after all. Karen thought happily. The loud sound of a bell was heard. Your Majesty, let's go quickly. The enthronement ceremony is about to begin. You don't want to be late, do you? A man exclaimed and grabbed Karen's hand. And who should go to the throne? The girl asked, surprised. Have you forgotten that it is you who will ascend the throne today? Said the man, and dragged Karen behind him. Karen had to go through a series of elaborate rituals before she took the dragon throne. Listening to the praises of the courtiers, Karina finally realized what an unpleasant situation she was in. A system alert appeared in front of the girl's eyes. The system offered to activate information about the original owner of the body. Karen hurriedly seized the opportunity to learn as much as she could about the body's owner. The 19th princess of the kingdom of Shephos was the youngest wife of the late emperor. She had only been able to give birth to one child, a girl. The woman decided to raise her daughter as a boy. As a result, the young princess was known to everyone as a prince. Since the emperor and all his sons died, there was only one child left, the daughter of the 19th princess. No one even guessed that there was a girl in front of them. The people and nobles thought that it was a boy. The current regent, Christian Kane, decided to give the throne to his nephew, the youngest prince. Something is not clear here. Why didn't Christian Kane want to rule? And why are all the other princes dead? There's definitely something wrong with the regent. He's probably the one who finished off the real owner of this body, and I moved into her. Karen guessed. Somehow, I don't think the real owner of the body knew much about governmental affairs. Most likely her uncle ran everything. He did all the work for her. I shouldn't get involved with him yet. I'll be inconspicuous until I'm stronger and figure things out. Also, I have another problem. I need to find the person the deity has possessed. Even though you can't use magic here, it shouldn't be too hard to find a magical aura. Returning to her room, Karen suddenly heard Christian Kane's voice. "Uncle, did you want something?" Karen asked. Since she was a puppet emperor, she needed to be polite to the powerful regent. "Your Majesty, be extremely careful since you have only recently ascended to the throne. How are you feeling?" asked Christian. Why does he ask that? Is he worried about my health, or is he hinting at my position? I need to be careful with him. I dare not contradict him. Karen thought, and said out loud that she felt very good. "Well, now that you feel better, then I dare you to take your leave," said Christian, and turned around to leave. Karen didn't like the mortal world because here, absolutely everyone hid their true identity under masks. It was an extremely dangerous place. The mortal world is too big. Where am I supposed to look for a deity now? I just took over someone's body, but the deity is most likely reincarnated. I'm sure he'll look about the same as I saw him in heaven. Where should I begin my search? The Emperor's counselor entered the room and laid out a large mountain of tokens on the table. From the conversation, Karen learned that his name was Ken Wataman, and he was a eunuch. He was the only one who knew about the newly minted emperor being a woman. "I just ascended the throne. How come there are so many concubines? Why are there so many?" Karen asked. "Your Majesty, all these beauties were left over from the past emperor. I arranged for them to come for you in the courtyard," replied Ken. "So you're suggesting I get to know these women better?" clarified Karen. "Your Majesty, you must not let them sleep in your bed. Let things go on as before. You must not let anyone find out that you are a woman. We will keep it hidden until you like someone," whispered Can in Karen's ear. "But I'll still have to consort with concubines to avoid rumors, won't I?" "Let this one come then," said Karen, taking one of the tokens. "Warden!" Eugene's ghost suddenly appeared next to Karen. The girl ordered everyone to leave her room. No one could see Eugene except her. If anyone saw Karen communicating with the air, there would be a rumor that the Emperor was crazy. "You're just in time. Find out where the deity is and restore the memory of the first body owner to me," ordered Karen. "I have not come to you empty-handed. I have a message to deliver to you, and I've already secretly peeked at where the deity is located. Right now, it's a general named Linus Drake," said Eugene to the girl and put some documents on the table. "I have to go. I can't stay on Earth for long." Eugene instantly vanished into thin air. "I take it Eugene doesn't want to help me. I'll have to find out about the first body mistress's past on my own," grumbled Karen, falling face down on the pillow. "Your Majesty, you must attend the trial today," said Khan and gently touched the girl's shoulder. "I'm not going anywhere. Just put the regent in charge," mumbled Karen in a sleepy voice. Since she was the puppet emperor, she decided to behave accordingly. What could be worse than visiting the palace every day, attending all sorts of social gatherings? It's not something I ever wanted to do. A few minutes later, Regent Christian Kane entered Karen's room. "I noticed that His Majesty is not at court today. You must be feeling unwell?" asked Christian, bowing respectfully to the Emperor. "No, I feel fine. Just tired. And I don't understand much of the affairs of state anyway, so I'm sure my uncle will take care of everything for me," replied Karen. "The Emperor is very prudent. He's just ascended the throne and knows that you have to train with an open heart first. It is good that General Lenos Drake, who has great talent and skill, has already returned to the capital. He will train you," said Christian. "Wait, when did I ever say I wanted to learn anything with an open heart? Am I really going to have to study literature and military science? Why would I need to study to be an emperor if I'm going back to heaven soon?" Karen thought in surprise. "All right, uncle, whatever you say." Karen decided not to argue with the regent. "Official Lenos Drake pays his respects to the emperor." A handsome man entered Karen's room and bowed to her. "Ah, Regent, thank you for your help. I was so worried about how I could find a deity, and he came to me himself and greeted me as the emperor. What a nice feeling that is, since he was the reason I came to this bad place in the first place." Rejoiced Karen. Karen picked up one of the tokens, intending to launch it at the deity. "Wait, I'm not allowed to do that. When the deity returns to heaven, it will remember what happened in the mortal world and will definitely finish me off." Karen made an effort on herself not to launch some heavy object at the deity. "Get up, no need for unnecessary politeness." Karen walked over to the deity and helped him up. "On the other hand, it's not so bad that I got caught here. Even though the deity descended to the mortal world because of grief, he still has a pretty face," the girl thought to herself. She enjoyed looking at the face of the man standing in front of her. "You know, my uncle wants someone to teach me a martial art. Most likely, it will be you. I need to see if you're good enough," said Karen, and began groping the deity's body. The girl noted to herself that his body was excellent as well. "Your Majesty, General Drake has excellent fighting skills. No one in our country is his equal. You can rest assured that he will train you well." Khan pulled Karen's hands away from the deity's body. "This servant is too shrewd. I was set up and sent here to suffer. What's wrong with taking advantage of my position? Luckily, I'll be seeing the general quite often." Karen reassured you. "From now on, General Drake will live in the palace. Ken move his things here," ordered Karen and took the deity's hands firmly in hers. "Well, deity, the future definitely holds the most difficult challenges for you," gloated Karen. General Drake saw the new emperor's joyful smile. It seemed too bright and suspicious to him. For a moment, the general felt uneasy. "Since you're going to teach me literature and martial arts, we should get to know each other as well as possible. So let's start by having lunch together," Karen suggested. Observing the general, Karen noted to herself that he was not only handsome, but also had refined manners. His every movement was elegant and pleasing to the eye. Under normal circumstances, an immortal with such a noble status as a deity would have to go through reincarnation to reach the top, thought Karen while watching the deity. "General Drake, are you really plotting to usurp the throne?" asked Karen and smiled sweetly. "Though I have been successful in the war, I have no corrupted thoughts. I hope your Majesty will understand me correctly." The general jumped up from his seat and knelt down in front of Karen. "Don't you really want to become an emperor? How can you be so ignorant? An official who doesn't dream of becoming an emperor is a bad official. Look at you. You're well-rounded and you're just a general," Karen remarked. Before sending Karen to Earth, the heavenly emperor gave her a task. The girl had to make the deity an emperor and wait for the moment he ascended to the heavenly court. Only after that could she herself return to the heavens. "After so many years of fighting in the north and south, I have made progress. I do have some merits. The emperor must have something to worry about and suspect." Linus thought to himself. Cold sweat ran down his face in a thin trickle. "I really have no wrong intentions. No matter how many times the emperor asks, the answer will be the same." In a steady, calm voice, Linus spoke. "Who's judging you? That's not what this is about. All right, bygones. Forget everything I said to you," asked Karen. The girl decided not to insist so as not to arouse suspicion. Linus brought a stack of books into the emperor's office. "Do I need to read all of these?" Karen clarified. The general answered her that not only to read, but to memorize. He warned that he would bring some more books in a while. "Oh, that's it. Come on, you can go," Karen said in a frustrated voice. She disliked reading and learning more than anything else in her life. "Although, General Drake, wait a minute. I have something to tell you." Karen shouted after the departing deity. The girl needed to get the general comfortable with her as soon as possible. She had yet to make an emperor out of him. "We're going to be spending a lot of time together in the future. We'd better establish a close relationship in a free environment," said Karen. "There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with that. We really don't know each other well. This is the first time we've met. The only thing I don't understand is why the Emperor's breathing has increased so suddenly." Linus thought to himself in surprise. Karen had planned to raise the deity to the pinnacle of life and then kill him in the most elaborate way possible. She really wanted to hurt him. The girl wanted revenge on the deity. "General Drake, when I saw you, I immediately felt a special affection. Unfortunately, my brothers are no longer with me. Therefore, you will be my brother from now on." Karen walked over to the deity and patted him on the shoulder. Whatever a person is going to do, surely the first step is to make the right connections, Karen thought. "Look, there are just a huge number of concubines in my house. Since you and I are brothers now, you can choose anyone you just like," Karen exclaimed. "I don't think that would be appropriate. Besides, as an official, I'm forbidden to enter the Emperor's harem," objected Linus. "Don't be silly," Karen exclaimed. She ordered her assistant Can to bring all the concubines of the harem to the garden. "I'll tell you this. My concubines are the most beautiful. Rest assured they are rare beauties. Your Majesty, I swear I have no desire to defame the throne. Therefore there is no need for this inspection," exclaimed Linus, and knelt down in front of the Emperor. It seemed to Linus that the Emperor was making various checks to see how loyal he was to him. Linus knew that no emperor would allow anyone to touch his concubines. "I certainly enjoy watching him kneel, but this is not a test. I'm not kidding. I need to earn his trust somehow. I need to get closer to him." Karen thought to herself, "I'm not testing you. I'm being completely serious. Pick one concubine and I'll give approval for the marriage right away." Karen helped the deity up from her knees. The Emperor's concubines came into the garden. Karen noted to herself that they were all real beauties. "Emperor, how happy I am to see you again!" One of the concubines exclaimed joyfully and threw herself into Karen's arms. She was followed by the rest of the girls. Karen was only able to fight off the concubines after an hour and a half. The girl had no idea how a real body owner could handle such a crowd of concubines. Still, meeting with concubines was a bad idea. Before going to bed, Karen decided to take stock of the day. She strove with all her might to gain the deity's trust. She even tried to instill in him the idea of a conspiracy to usurp power. She tried to get close to him with the help of concubines, but the plan failed. "Your Majesty, are you still awake?" The Emperor's counselor, Ken, entered the room, stepping quietly. "Ken, my concubines are very beautiful, but why did the general refuse to take just one?" asked Karen. "Your Majesty, the concubines in the harem are your women, and the general is only a courtier. Even looking at your concubines is punishable by death," Khan explained. "I get it. It's not that he can't see their beauty, he's just forbidden to do so," exclaimed Karen. The girl knew that no man could resist a woman's beauty. She decided to change concubines. She would find girls the general was allowed to look at. "Tomorrow morning, get all the concubines out of the palace and have them send portraits of the new girls. The concubines are already a shadow of their former selves. I need new girls," Karen said in a firm, confident tone. "Your Majesty, are you going to choose new candidates?" Khan clarified. He had seen how the Emperor couldn't handle his old concubines during the day. So why was he looking for new ones? Already at lunchtime the next day, a mountain of female portraits towered on the Emperor's desk. "Your Majesty, look. This is Minister Lewis's first daughter. She is talented and beautiful." Khan unfolded the first portrait. And this is the granddaughter of General Lucas. She is extremely slender and graceful. I'm looking for a bride for General Drake. So why is Khan so enthusiastic? Maybe he misunderstood me? Karen's mind raced. It's not that I don't appreciate your efforts. It's just that you and I have had some misunderstandings. I'm not looking for a bride for myself. I'm looking for a bride for the general, Karen admitted. Karen invited General Drake into her office. Look at this. Samantha Yaren is very intelligent and beautiful. She is also the daughter of the Prime Minister. Karen threw the portrait of the girl into the general's hands. Your Majesty, I cannot accept your imperial order to marry her, Linus exclaimed and knelt before the emperor again. But why? One would have to be a complete fool to reject such a beautiful woman. Not only is she beautiful, she is the daughter of one of the most powerful families, Karen exclaimed. Wait, I'm beginning to guess. Answer me one question. Do you like this girl? No, I don't like her, replied the general. Oh, it's too late now. The order has been sent to the Prime Minister's estate. Shrugging her shoulders, Karen said. An excited Khan burst into the Emperor's office. He reported that the Prime Minister's daughter had decided to hang herself after receiving the Emperor's decree. What's going on? Why did that girl decide to hang herself? It's not like I'm suggesting she marry an ugly old fiancé. She's a beautiful girl. He's a beautiful man. Why do they refuse? Karen wondered. Let's go to her. You're coming with me. Maybe you'll fall in love with her at first sight. Karen grabbed the general by the arm and dragged him along. Your Majesty, I only have one daughter. Please spare her, shouted the Prime Minister upon seeing the Emperor. What on earth is going on here? Why is this old man crying like this? It's just a marriage. What's the big deal? Karen thought in surprise. Let me meet with your daughter first, and then we can discuss things in more detail, suggested Karen to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister's daughter was loudly shouting about how she didn't want to live anymore. She kept twisting a noose made from a piece of cloth in her hands. This girl is very beautiful. She is gentle and innocent. The sight of her encourages men to protect her with all their might and throw the whole world at her feet. However, she just holds on to the noose instead of hanging herself. Obviously, she's faking it, thought Karen. Mistress Yaren, this wedding is absolutely necessary. Just look at our general. He's beautiful with himself and in great physical shape, exclaimed Karen. Listen, can you take off your clothes and show her your body? By the way, I haven't seen it yet either. And until you do, you won't believe anything, Karen whispered to the general. Linus looked away from the Emperor in surprise. To undress in public and show his body to a woman was an unheard of disgrace. Such a thing was not even worth asking for. Okay, he doesn't want to undress, but I'm telling you the truth, he has a great body. If you come down, you can feel him for yourself. By the way, he has power. You think about it, not a bad option. Karen decided not to give up and still persuade the Prime Minister's daughter. The Prime Minister's daughter frightenedly recoiled from the Emperor. The chair the girl was standing on tilted on its side. Well, why have you become a pillar? Go quickly save the pretty girl, ordered Karen to the general, but he ignored the Emperor's words. He's no hero at all. No wonder he doesn't have a consort. He's the ultimate dry man. Karen decided to herself, yes. Since the Prime Minister's daughter was constantly crying as soon as she cast a glance at the general, Karen decided to withdraw her marriage order after all. Ken, tell me, what's wrong with the Prime Minister's daughter? Why is she so scared? Asked Karen to her counselor. Your Majesty, you may not know yet, but General Drake is always stern. He is distant from women, practically shuns them. It is said that once at a feast, a maid accidentally touched his sleeve. The general immediately drew his sword and cut off her arm, whispered Khan. After listening to the counselor's story, Karen decided that the deity was out of her mind. She had merely flirted with him, and he had jumped into the pool of afterlife. In the mortal world, he cut off an innocent girl's hand. Karen began to guess that her mission would be extremely difficult. Entering the courtyard of the imperial palace, The first thing Karen noticed was Christian Kane. The girl waved cheerfully at him. Christian Kane gave a sly smile and walked on without saying a word. Why the hell is he being so rude to me? Damn, like a puppet. I forgot to ask him for permission for the marriage order. If that old fox doesn't like something, he'll find a way to get rid of me, thought Karen. If I die before the deity returns to heaven, my mission will be a failure. Then I will become the laughing stock of the entire police department in heaven. No, I can't act directly anymore. I need to lay low. The next day, the regent sent the emperor a whole mountain of training scrolls. Karen looked at the scrolls longingly. Before, she had always thought that emperors did nothing but eat, drink, and party all day long. Why was she being forced to study? That's it, I'm tired, my eyes hurt. I can't read anymore, Karen exclaimed. General Drake reminded her that the regent insists on reading all the scrolls in a day. Ah, so the regent said that. And why is that old man such a jerk? Can't he just rule behind my back and I'll play the part of the good emperor? Why can't we quietly go about our business and not interfere with each other? Thought the girl. Okay, let's forget it. The regent better not get angry. If I provoke him again, I'll probably die before I accomplish my mission. I swear, I'm trying to read these scrolls, but I don't understand a thing. There's a lot of water and very little specificity. The scrolls say what places it rains, how long it rains, and how often it rains. These writings are getting to me. I find them utter nonsense. They say the lives of emperors don't last long. Now I'm guessing why. Linus also decided to look over the scrolls that the regent had handed over. He noted that the scrolls had been sorted in advance before being sent to the emperor's office. There was nothing important in them. All important matters were decided in the regent's palace. Karen guessed that with these scrolls, the regent had decided to mock her. He probably thought the emperor was shallow. Karen also guessed that the regent didn't like the fact that the emperor had ordered the wedding without consulting him. I am the captain of the celestial police, and some mortal is going to mock me. If anyone finds out about this, I will be ashamed to live in heaven. I'll be reminded of it all the time. Annoyed, the girl thought. Karen called her counselor over to her and asked him if he could light some candles since it was dark for her to read. Khan looked at the windows in surprise. It was the height of the day and the weather was sunny. Khan didn't argue with the emperor. He just brought a lit candle. Karen took the candle in her hands and carried it to the scrolls. Within seconds, the mountain of scrolls was engulfed in flames. Your Majesty, these ancient scrolls are unique. How can you destroy them so easily? In an agitated voice, the general exclaimed. Karen grabbed the general's hand and hurried with him towards the library's exit. The girl began to call loudly for help. People with buckets ran up to the library. They did not put out the fire quickly. General Drake took off his seat and ran toward the burning library. Karen started calling his name, but he didn't respond. She had to run after him. The girl all caught up with the general already and grabbed his arm tightly. General Drake, thank you for saving me. For that I can reward you with the imperial throne, Karen exclaimed. The general pulled his hand out. He decided that the emperor had gone insane. Your Majesty, I'll get the imperial doctor right away, said the general and hurried after the doctor. I understand it all now. The emperor came up with a simply amazing plan that helped him get close to General Drake. He even offered him the throne as a reward. They're probably on very good terms. Enthusiastically thought Khan. After a while, the fire set by Karen still managed to put out. Absolutely all the scrolls and some books were burned. Everything else remained almost untouched. How nice that all the stupid scrolls burned. The girl thought and breathed a sigh of relief. Your Majesty, do you have any idea how valuable the books that burned were? They were the last ones in the entire world. Since you are the emperor, you must accept responsibility for what happened. The general spoke in an angry voice. I hope you don't want to dishonor all the past emperors and the common people. I want you to draw conclusions from what happened. The general walked out of the emperor's office, slamming the door loudly. But I don't want to be emperor. If that deity hadn't caused trouble, I wouldn't be in this place. It's all his fault. The heavenly emperor granted me this identity, so it's the fate of the people of this country, muttered Karen to herself. I don't want to think about the common people of this country. They have nothing to do with my mission. I only wish to return to my place and become the captain of the celestial police again. I have one desire, to fulfill my mission. Lately, I've been wanting to kill this deity. How dare he accuse me of incompetence? He's accusing me because he probably thinks I'm the wrong emperor. And since he can't stand me, he needs to be driven white so that he has the desire to overthrow me. If I understand this correctly, the worse I behave, the sooner the deity will want to get rid of me. I'll force him to become emperor, and that mean old man regent will be left with nothing. Khan, cover for me at the palace. I need to make a private visit, asked Karen to the counselor. General Drake, come with me. We need to leave the palace for a while, said Karen, to which the general objected to her that it was too dangerous outside. There's a high possibility that the opponents might unleash assassins. You don't need to worry about nothing. First of all, I'm wearing simple clothes right now, so no one will recognize me. Secondly, I'm sure you'll be able to protect me if anything happens, said Karen with a cute smile. Your Majesty, I understand you, but... The general knelt down in front of the emperor again, but Karen wouldn't listen to him. She reminded the general that she was the emperor, and he was obligated to follow her orders. If you do not follow my orders, I will order my executioners to capture you and cut off your head, Karen exclaimed. She tried to put as much arrogance and authority into her words as possible. She wanted to make the general hate herself. Where does His Majesty want to go? I will prepare the carriage. Pulling himself together, the general said. Lately, the emperor was starting to annoy him. I need to walk around the city for a while and ask for trouble. It's a good thing he remembered about the carriage, or else I'm already tired. Unfortunately, I'll have to wait a long time for it to be prepared. Karen thought wistfully. General Drake, I'm very tired. Carry me in your arms, Karen asked. She wanted to make the deity pay for making her mortal because of him. Your Majesty, it's against the rules, the general exclaimed in surprise. You don't want to protect me? Asked Karen. No, it's not that. It's just... Linus began to carefully choose his words to refuse the emperor in a mild manner. He was well aware that it was unacceptable for men to wear each other down. Well, since you are silent, then you agree. And to be honest, I don't care about public opinion at all. I'm ordering you to sit down, Karen said with a sly smile. The general had no choice but to sit down in front of the emperor. Karen climbed on the general's back and ordered him to carry her to the center of the city. Ah, what a pleasure. This deity is even stronger than the heavenly emperor. He carries me like a piece of fluff. I feel like I'm at the pinnacle of life. Joyfully, the girl thought to herself. The emperor has very long legs after all. It's true what they say. Men from noble families are more exquisite than any woman. However, he is too thin and his muscles are weak, noted Linus to himself. Wait, I think we've gone too far. Or no, we came in right, Karen exclaimed. Looking up from the ground, the general noticed that they had stopped right outside a brothel. You wanted to visit the brothel today? Clarified the general. The emperor's behavior surprised him more and more each time. Yeah, look at all those beauties, said Karen in a voice full of delight. Ah, he must be new to a place like this. But it's better for me. I'll take advantage of it. I'll show him how to hug one beauty while lying drunk on the lap of another. Karen thought gloatingly. Karen was immediately approached by several girls. They offered to sing or dance. I don't need to be entertained. Better pay attention to my buddy. Karen pushed the general into the girl's arms and hurriedly left the brothel herself. Upon seeing General Drake, the girls immediately fell to their knees before him. They begged him for mercy. The brothel girls knew that General Drake was known for mutilating girls who dared to touch him. I have absolutely no concern for these girls right now. I have to catch the escaped emperor. Linus shook off the invisible debris from his clothes. Walking out of the brothel, the general noticed the emperor enter one of the buildings. As he approached the building where the emperor had hidden, the general stood still in amazement. It was a brothel with men in it. What am I supposed to do now? I have to get the emperor out of here somehow. Overcoming his embarrassment, the general entered the brothel, and finding the emperor inside, he grabbed his hand. "You are now in an all-male brothel. This is unacceptable." Holding back his anger, the general thundered. "I am well aware of where we are right now, and I'm glad you've joined me," Karen exclaimed and put her arm around the general's shoulders. "Wait, you must have misunderstood me. I don't like men," the general exclaimed in horror, recoiling from the emperor. "But I do," smiling happily, Karen said. Laughing merrily, Karen hurried over to the group of men. "If I understood the situation correctly, the emperor favors men over women. No wonder he made me carry myself in his arms." Struggling with disgust, thought to himself the general, "But be that as it may, I can't leave the emperor alone in this place. It's full of unsavory personalities. I'd better keep an eye on him, lest there be trouble." Taking a small group of good-looking boys, Karen closed with them in the spare room. "How am I supposed to live after what I've seen?" The general grimaced. Karen noted to herself that the men standing in front of her were pleasant-faced, but their beauty still couldn't compare to the general's. "I wanted to pretend to be a promiscuous emperor in front of General Drake, but I can't finish that role to the end. All these men do not entice me. Now how am I supposed to finish my mission?" Karen felt the inexorable longing on her heart again. "That's right, I've got an idea," Karen exclaimed. A brilliant thought popped into her head again. "Handsome Drake, why do you keep avoiding me?" asked Karen to the general in a playful tone. Seeing the emperor beside him, Linus involuntarily recoiled from him. "Dear Linus, all these men are just ugly in comparison to you. How about spending the evening with me?" Karen walked over to the general and touched his chin. The girl noted to herself that it had been a long time since she had flirted with handsome guys. She'd already missed that pleasant feeling. "I'm an honest government official. I'm not the type to spend the night with men." The general pushed the emperor's hand away from him. "I didn't think the emperor was a common promiscuous boy. What does he take me for? If it were my will, I would teach him a lesson." Angrily, the general thought to himself, "I finally pissed him off. I'm going to throw some wood on that fire." Smirked Karen thought to herself. "But I want to remind you that I am your emperor. That means I can do whatever I want. And no matter how hard you fight, sooner or later you'll still be mine. And if I displease you, then overthrow me and take my place," Karen suggested. "And when you become emperor, you can do whatever you want. You know, and you could even kill me. How's that for an idea?" "I'm not reckless enough to start a war. The emperor is doing this on purpose to force me to take the throne. Why would he do that? Could it be checks after all?" questioned Linus. "And since he's pushing me to do certain things with his behavior, it's likely that his interest in men is just a game." Karen walked down the street, merrily humming songs. She felt as if she had already succeeded in completing her mission. The girl was sure, just a little more, and General Linus Drake would overthrow the emperor and take the throne. Suddenly, several assassins appeared in front of the girl. They held long, sharp swords in their hands. "Who the hell are you people anyway? What do you want from me?" screamed the girl in fright. Since Karen couldn't use her power in the mortal world, she hurriedly ran away from the mercenaries. Suddenly, a mercenary jumped to the ground from somewhere on the roof. He found himself right in front of the girl. "If I had only known that I would find myself in such an unpleasant situation, I wouldn't have flirted with the general. What am I supposed to do now? If I use the spell now, I'll definitely be sent back to heaven and won't finish my task. But if I keep standing still, those people will quickly finish me off, and then I definitely won't be able to complete my mission." Karen tried to think of a way out of the situation as quickly as possible that would help her survive. Suddenly, a general appeared behind the girl. "Are you all right, Your Majesty?" asked the general. Karen was glad that the situation resolved itself. She didn't have to use a spell. "Prepare to die!" shouted the assassins and rushed into battle. The general struck several people at once with a single swing of his sword. Karen was surprised at the speed and the confidence with which the general handled his sword. Picking up the emperor, the general rushed away down the street. He was afraid that if the fight continued, someone might accidentally injure the emperor. "That's some traveling speed," Karen marveled. "That's it. You've had your fun. Now it's my turn." Karen snatched the sword from the general's hands. "What are you going to do?" surprised the general. "Find yourself another sword!" shouted Karen, and raising the blade high above her head, she rushed at the mercenaries. In the celestial sphere, the girl's body was a sword, so she was perfectly capable of wielding any kind of cold weapon. Karen decided not to kill the mortals, but simply disarm them and render them unfit for combat. Spoiled and spoiled emperor, and just how does he know martial arts? The general marveled and rushed to the emperor's aid. When the general ran up to the emperor, he saw that his help was not needed. The disarmed mercenaries were unconsciously lying on the ground. "The wounds on these people's bodies are extremely neat. They won't destroy them, only bring pain and suffering," noted the general to himself. Taking 2 blades in his hands, the general beheaded the mercenaries. Only the regent could send assassins to eliminate the emperor. He must not find out that the emperor is skilled in martial arts. The general thought to himself. "Why did you decide to help me after all?" Karen asked the general. "Not only did he come to my aid, but he even considered the consequences. And what does all this even mean? Is he really the man I drove to the bottom of the barrel in the brothel? Why is he forgiving me for all my faults?" Karen thought. "Your Majesty, we'd better return to the palace. It's too dangerous to stay here," said the general. Karen was in a state of shock. She still couldn't believe that the general, despite her behavior, still decided to help her. "I'm tired of all this. Take me back," asked Karen. The general immediately put his back to the emperor, which again shocked the girl. This time, the general responded calmly to the request. He didn't even interrupt. "Your Majesty, we're here," said the general when they reached the palace. "I don't want to let you go. I've been so overexcited that my legs won't hold me anymore," Karen admitted. The girl wanted the general to continue carrying her in his arms. "Is the emperor trying to play dumb for the regent's spies? Then I'll play along with him," decided to himself Linus. Karen climbed off the general's back only after he had carried her into the emperor's room. "His Majesty has returned. How are you feeling? You look a little pale," shouted Khan upon seeing the emperor on the threshold of the room. "Let me help you to bed." Khan took Karen under his arm and led the girl to the bed. The next day, word went around the empire that an assassination attempt had been made on the emperor the previous night. "Your Majesty, I have learned that you were attacked by mercenaries during the night. I have brought a healer with me to examine you," Christian Kane exclaimed as he entered the emperor's office. What's he doing here, and why did he bring the imperial physician? Only one physician knows that I'm a woman. The physician the regent brought is not aware of this. I can't let him check my pulse. We have to think of something right away. Frightened, Karen thought. "Stay away from me!" screamed Karen and grabbed the general's arm tightly. She feigned a frightened look. "And when did they get so close already?" Christian Kane thought irritably. "Well, if the emperor doesn't want the healer to examine him, then I won't insist on it," grumbled the regent and walked out of the emperor's office. "Phew, finally gone," said Karen with a sigh of relief. How I wish I could get rid of the regent. Still, these intrigues require too much brain power. For the moment, I have to focus all my attention on the deity. I don't have time to be distracted. The girl thought to herself. General Drake was extremely curious as to where the emperor had learned swordsmanship. He had never heard of the emperor having a teacher. Also, the general doubted that the emperor would be able to hold his position for long. He was not worthy of it. The next day, General Drake decided to test the emperor's knowledge. He wanted to give him a small exam. I was too scared yesterday, so I'll rest today, Karen exclaimed. She didn't want to take any exams, and in fact, she was sick of studying. When was she going to have fun? Suddenly, Karen heard two concubines talking. The girl was afraid that they might enter her office and demand attention for themselves again. Karen hurried back to her books. The Emperor is passionately reading a book, so I think it would be inappropriate to go in to see him right now, the concubines whispered. The concubines in the Emperor's harem are a nightmare. I wouldn't see them for the rest of my life. Thought to herself, Karen tossed the book aside. So that's how it turns out, ran through the general's mind. Your Majesty, if you don't read this book for today, the harem queens will surely come here, one by one, said the general, and held out the book to the Emperor. Is he threatening me? Karen thought irritably. Linus hurriedly put an innocent smile on his face. Karen grabbed the book from the table, intending to throw it at the general, but she realized in time. If the deity remembered this incident, he would make sure that she would be stripped of her position as captain of the heavenly police when she returned to heaven. With a loud scream, Karen tore the book in half. Before my father died, I promised him that I would do my best to help the new emperor. If the emperor wants to rule the country, he must be well versed in the ways of government and familiar with politics, said Linus in a calm voice. I thought you had some good reason, and you only want to make me a worthy emperor. But I've told you several times that I have absolutely no desire to learn, said Karen. Suddenly, the girl had an epiphany. She suddenly realized that she could take advantage of the situation and make the general hate her even more. General Drake, if I understand correctly, you like to keep promises? Asked Karen, painting an innocent smile on her face. There's clearly something wrong here. The Emperor usually smiles like that before he does something nasty. He's already up to something. Lanos guessed. Every official in the Empire tries to keep his word, replied Linus to the Emperor. Good, exclaimed the girl and took up fiction. In the evening, Karen asked Khan for a blank sheet of paper and ink and a brush. I'll make the general keep his promise. If he signs my treaty, all my problems will be solved, joyfully exclaimed the girl. Early in the morning, entering the library, Linus saw the Emperor there. He was extremely surprised, for usually the Emperor liked to sleep before lunch. Come in quickly, I've been waiting for you. Let's read books as we agreed, Karen exclaimed. What's going on? Why has the Emperor changed so drastically? Has he become more serious in just one night? Thought Linus, watching the Emperor scrutinize the books given to him. General Drake, you must be tired? I'm very grateful for your attentive and courteous teaching, said Karen at dinner. Your Majesty, you are too kind to me. I'm only doing my duty. The general muttered, embarrassed. Go ahead and drink. I need you drunk, thought Karen, carefully making sure the general drank every last drop. General Drake, let's have another drink with you for saving me that night. Karen handed the general another shot. Well, you did pretty well for yourself, mumbled Linus and drained the shot. Now let's drink to the fact that I've been bullying you for days now, and you still show resilience and patience, said the girl another toast. The general drained the shot again. I've named almost every possible toast. Why didn't his face even change? Karen thought in surprise. Linus was beginning to guess that the Emperor wanted to get him drunk. But why would he want to do that? After a few more shots, Karen realized she was already very drunk, but the general was still sober as a whistle. Then I'll hit him with a chair and see what happens. The girl thought to herself and grabbed the back of the chair. From the first time we met, I sensed that the Emperor had an inexplicable dislike for me. Perhaps after the alcohol, he decided to fulfill his heart's desire after all, thought Linus. He is the Emperor after all. I'd better dodge and block his blow. Suddenly, the Emperor threw aside his chair and wrapped his arms around the general and pressed himself tightly against him. Well, why does he have such a handsome face? This is the mortal world. We're both human, so we can build a relationship. Karen thought to herself. It's about time for me to get into action. Karen untied the belt on the general's robe. The surprised general pushed the Emperor away from him. The general did not understand why the emperor, being a man, had removed his belt. Men shouldn't do that. The general believed even more that the general didn't like girls. He was more into guys. "I'm sick of the emperor and his perverted tastes," thought the general, and hurriedly left the dining room. And where did he go to? "The heavenly emperor ordered me to find someone to pair cultivate. I'm just following his orders. The deity is perfect for this role." Karen ran up to the general and grabbed him by his robe. Linus pushed the emperor away from him again. "I'm the emperor. How can you refuse me? You're the reason I got into this hole, and now I have to suffer," screamed Karen. Linus was tired of putting up with the emperor's ugly behavior. He pushed him a few meters away from him. "That's it, you pathetic deity. Now I'm going to kill you for sure," Karen muttered. "Why does the emperor call me a deity? Is this some kind of new title?" Linus thought in surprise. In order not to escalate the situation, Linus hurriedly left the room. The next morning, going to the mirror, Karen saw bruises and scratches on her face. "Can, quickly answer who did this to my face. I promise I will kill that person," screamed the girl, grabbing her counselor by the chest. "Your Majesty, last night you didn't allow me to serve you in the palace, so I don't know what happened," troubled the counselor. Karen suddenly remembered that the previous night she had wanted to have dinner with the general, and by getting him drunk, get him to sign a document. The girl was afraid that being intoxicated, she might have done something stupid. "Can, quickly answer me where General Drake is now?" the girl asked. The counselor answered her that the general hadn't arrived at the palace yet. When the general entered the emperor's office, it was immediately clear that he was extremely annoyed. "General Drake, I hope nothing strange happened the previous evening, right?" Karen muttered. Linus guessed that the emperor had forgotten what had happened from the previous evening. "Your Majesty, you had a little too much to drink last night. You fell to the floor and fell sound asleep. I called the eunuch to you, so I don't know what happened afterward," Linus replied, bowing low to the emperor. Before his father died, he asked Linus to serve the new emperor well. Linus wanted to keep his word. He knew that if he left now, there would be no second chance. "That's fine." Karen was glad that she didn't have time to do anything stupid. The only thing she didn't understand was why there was a large bruise on her face. The general asked the emperor to give him the day off. "Why do you need a day off? Is something wrong? Are you not feeling well? If so, I'll order you to get a physician right away," frightenedly exclaimed Karen. "Your Majesty, I don't have any health problems. I just haven't been home since I returned to the palace," replied Linus. "Wow, that's quite a weight off your shoulders. And here I thought you were sick." Karen sighed with relief. "Why is the emperor acting like that? Yesterday he was hostile, and today he's taking care of me. The regent is a pretty smart man, but I can still see through all his scheming. The emperor, on the other hand, I don't understand at all," thought Linus. "General Drake, you won't have time to rest in one day, so you can take as many days as you want," Karen exclaimed. Linus absolutely did not understand the emperor. Sometimes he acted extremely strange. Linus decided to do a little investigation to find out as much as he could about the emperor. He needed to find out if the emperor was really a fool or just pretending. In the past, Linus wouldn't have hesitated to be loyal to the emperor, but the previous evening had caused him to have many doubts. He didn't like the emperor's preferences. Linus decided that a life on the frontier would be far preferable for him. Linus wanted to live a life of freedom, as far away from palace intrigue as possible. A few days later, Linus returned to his manor. He immediately noticed that the house had been renovated. Tassels decorated with pearls hung everywhere. White jade was on the floor instead of the usual tiles. Linus was greeted by several girls. "What do you think? Are you happy with the way I've arranged your estate?" Karen asked the general. "Your Majesty, what do you mean?" clarified Linus. "Since I missed you, I decided to stay at your residence for a few days," replied Karen. "If you don't want to take the throne by persuasion, I'll make you. I'll make you want to kill me. It's just the perfect plan," praised Karen to herself. "Your Majesty, but if the regent finds out about this..." The general started to speak, but Karen interrupted him. "I've already spoken to the regent, and he's agreed." Karen knew that as long as she stayed out of palace affairs, the regent absolutely didn't care what the emperor did. "Since your residence is next to the imperial palace, I will stay here to live for a while. I won't accept any refusals from you. It's still good to be an emperor after all, am I right?" With a sly smile, Karen asked the general. "General Drake, you must be tired. Let's go rest together," exclaimed the girls who approached. "He's the one who hired them. From the very first meeting, this emperor is always looking for trouble," irritatedly thought Linus. Karen ordered her bed to be brought to the general's room. "Your Majesty, this is not a matter to be trifled with. Do not forget about your real body." Khan worried about the general guessing that the emperor was a woman. "I have my own plans for that, so don't worry. I'll make sure no one guesses who I really am." The girl reassured the counselor. Linus had to work hard to muffle the anger bursting out. "Your Majesty, please do not forget about decorum. We cannot sleep in the same room with you," exclaimed Linus. "And why is that? What's wrong?" Karen asked in an innocent tone. Linus turned his back to the emperor and strode away from the room. He would have to sleep somewhere else tonight. "Wait, don't go. General Drake, where do you keep running to? Don't worry, I won't eat you." Karen grabbed the general by his outer garment. "Your Majesty, but this is crossing all acceptable boundaries already, isn't it?" Linus exclaimed. He pulled the emperor's hands away from him. "But I am the emperor, and I can do whatever I want. You'd better follow my orders and not cross me, or I have ways of forcing you," Karen said in a mocking tone. "Aren't you afraid I'll start a mutiny?" asked the general, painfully grabbed Karen's arm. The girl was glad that she had finally succeeded in pissing off the deity. The general was furious. "Do I have anything to fear? If you have the courage, you can rebel." Karen really wanted the general to overthrow her, and as soon as possible. She was sick of being on Earth and longed to return to heaven. "And what would be the harm in you becoming my unspoken empress?" Karen gently ran her hand over the general's face. Unable to contain his anger any longer, the general pushed the emperor to the floor. Walking out of the room, Linus slammed the door shut with a clatter. "That's it, I've done it. He's arriving in a frenzy. Now let's just hope he still wants revenge on me," Karen thought to herself. The girl gingerly touched her bruised hand. Her fingers were red and throbbing with pain. "Once I hit the ground, I've been constantly haunted by failures. I can't even now use a healing spell to take away the pain." In a dissatisfied tone, the girl muttered, "Your Majesty, what happened between you and General Drake? He left the room extremely angry. You should not quarrel with him," said Khan in an agitated voice. "The regent controls the government now, and the general is the only one who can stand up to him. You had better keep him as your ally. There is no way you can ruin relations with him. If he goes against you, you will die." "You want to know why the general is furious? I will tell you. I asked him to become my empress. On top of that, I can't get him to hook up with the regent and become my ally," exclaimed Karen, firmly grabbed the counselor's shoulders. "Your Majesty, I can only guess how much you are suffering in your heart being in this position, and I sympathize with your pain," said Khan, wiping away the tears streaming down his cheeks. "If you choose to sob, then sob outside the door. No need to breed dampness." Karen really didn't like being pitied by anyone. Linus didn't know what he should do next. His family had been loyal and virtuous for generations. They had always helped the emperor and supported him. In the entire history of the empire, there had never been an emperor as unfit as he was now. "Father has always encouraged me to faithfully serve the emperor, but not this one. I'd rather die than follow his orders." The next day, the first thing the general did was to kick out of his house all the girls invited by the emperor. He himself took up residence in the barracks, under the pretext that he was busy with military duties. "At last the general has gone to the barracks. He will talk to his soldiers and usurp the throne. If he starts a rebellion and eventually overthrows me, I will finally have a reason to kill him. That way, I'll send him to heaven," exclaimed Karen joyfully. "Well, farewell to the vile world of mortals. I will finally ascend to heaven and my magic will return to me." Unfortunately, 5 days later, nothing had happened. Karen ordered Khan to bring the general to her. She decided to piss him off even more and add insult to injury. "Well, let's see what happens to that prideful man when I strip him naked. After that, he'll definitely stop holding back and rebel." Karen no longer knew how to get the general to overthrow the emperor. When Karen came out of the shower, she saw the general in her room. The girl didn't expect him to come so quickly. "Damn, why did he come at such a bad time? I don't have bandages on my chest. He'll realize I'm a girl right away. What am I supposed to do now?" Scared, Karen thought and rushed away. Suddenly, the girl tripped over a piece of cloth lying on the floor. Tangled in it, she flew to the floor. "Well, why am I so unlucky? If I hit my head on the edge of the table now, I'll definitely die." It went through the girl's head. The general ran over to Karen and picked her up under her arms. "He saved me, just like in romance books," Karen thought. Linus looked at his hand in surprise. "General Drake, you didn't have to grab my breasts," grumbled Karen. I wonder if he guessed or not. He might think it's just that kind of pectoral muscle, right? But what happens if he did realize I'm not a man? Frightened, Karen thought. Considering how I treated him, he definitely won't hide my gender and will retaliate right away. If the courtiers find out about this, they'll immediately overthrow me or worse, kill me. So what should I do? Start flirting with him or turn it into a joke? Should I just kick him out of the room and that's it? "Please forgive me," said Linus and left the emperor's room. "That's it, I'm done." With a doomed sigh, Karen muttered, "How that emperor pissed me off after all. And where did that boy get those pectoral muscles? Even though he knows martial arts, he's still quite puny. And why are his pectoral muscles so soft and big?" thought the general on the way to the military camp. "General Drake, everything is quiet in the military camp right now." Captain Simon, who entered the general's office, reported, "By the way, General, everyone knows you're single. Why don't you find yourself a wife? There have been some unpleasant rumors about you lately. You should find yourself a woman after all." In a confused voice, Simon muttered, "That's right, a woman. The emperor has thin and beautiful legs. When he came out from behind the screen, you could see his thin waist through his wet clothes, and his chest is too soft to be a man's. Our emperor is a woman," Linus guessed. "Then, what I did today might have offended her. I thoughtlessly left her completely alone. That is behavior unworthy of an honest man." The general ordered his horse to be prepared for him immediately. Linus did not know how he should behave around the emperor now. What to say to him? Confess that he had realized that the emperor was a woman? Apologize for what happened? Well, what if the emperor suddenly wants to keep it a secret? If she finds out that I know her real gender, I might become an enemy to her. What if she wants to kill me as a witness? I need to go back to the military camp and think this over carefully. "It's only been a quarter of an hour. Why did you come back so quickly?" Simon wondered. He was sure the general had heeded his words and rushed off in the middle of the night to find the woman. But why had he come back so quickly? "Look, come here. I need to ask you a question." Linus put his arm around the captain's shoulders and led him into his office. "If a man takes a woman from a good family lightly, does he have to marry her?" "General, and which girl have you already hit on? Tell us who this girl is and we will definitely bring her to you," exclaimed Simon. "Since the general has never had a girlfriend, he probably doesn't know how to get attention. We can't let the general continue to love unrequitedly. We should definitely help him," Simon thought. "If you hurt a girl, it doesn't mean you are obligated to marry her. If you touched someone you don't owe, you just have to give an explanation. You'd better go to her and discuss the situation," advised Simon. "And if you're embarrassed to do that, then I can go in your place." No need, I'll do it all myself," replied Linus. If I had known about this before, it wouldn't have happened. Now I'll have to take responsibility. Thought Linus looked at his hand again. I've been brazenly grabbed by the chest. Me, the arrogant, overbearing, and formidable captain of the celestial world. And I was so confused I couldn't even fight back. Damn deity, just wait. I'll get back at you. Angrily thought Karen. The next morning, Khan loudly announced that General Drake had arrived at the Emperor's doorstep. Seeing the general on the threshold of her room, Karen immediately kicked him to the floor. Since he brazenly touched my breasts, I'll get my revenge today by leaving him unclothed. Thought Karen, tearing off the general's robe. Your Majesty, please stop, asked Linus, grabbing the girl's arm. Let me go. I'm going to undress you tonight, after all, screamed Karen. Even if a girl is in anger, she shouldn't say such shameful things. Embarrassed, Linus thought to himself. Why are you staring at me like that? I'll show you how unpleasant it is when someone squeezes your pecs, Karen exclaimed. The girl began to tear the general's clothes off with her teeth. General, we need your help on the border immediately, shouted Simon, bursting into the general's bedroom. Our valiant general and young, handsome man. That's why the general still hasn't found a wife. They're probably having an affair. Simon thought in surprise. His man is here. I've got a great chance to get back at him for everything he's done, thought Karen, and smirked gloatingly. Get out of here, shouted Linus. Don't worry, I didn't see anything, and I won't tell anyone anything, exclaimed Simon, and jumped out of the general's bedroom. Karen got off the general and sat down on the bench across from him. The girl decided she had humiliated him enough in front of his subordinates. The general got up off the floor and headed for the door. Is he just going to leave like that? Doesn't he have a terrible temper? Didn't he lose his temper over every little thing? He's a man, also a general who fought on the battlefield. He stayed calm even after being pinned to the ground and having his clothes ripped off? Karen marveled. General, would you like to tell me what kind of guy lives in your room? Just yesterday you mentioned a girl and you were going to go to her this morning, and today I saw you with this handsome man, exclaimed Simon as soon as the general came out of his room. Rumor has it you're not close to women and don't know anything about relationships. Do you really like guys better? What's going on at the border? Gritting his teeth angrily, the general hissed. Our spies report that the enemy is preparing warriors and horses. He is most likely about to attack. In a serious tone, Simon reported back. After changing into new clothes, the general returned to his bedroom. Simon decided to observe the general. He wondered who the general was hiding in his bedroom. Why did he decide to come back? Karen wondered. Looks like he's ready to die with me. Maybe I should avoid him after all. Since I have no magic here, I won't be able to handle him in case of an attack. Suddenly, the general dropped to one knee in front of Karen. Emperor, I will help you regain your power, Linus promised. I can't marry this girl, but I have an obligation to help her strengthen herself on the throne. Linus thought to himself. I've labored for days to make him look bad, to make him want to usurp the throne, and now he says he's willing to help me take back the reins. He must be kidding me? Annoyed, Karen thought. General Drake, you must have forgotten what I did the other day. I mean, I undressed you, pinned you to the floor, and I wanted to touch your breasts, and you're still not mad at me? The girl exclaimed. I'm telling you honestly, I don't care about power at all, and if you really want to help me, then become my empress. Karen gently took the general by the chin. And why is he acting like this? I was constantly told that he lost his temper easily. He was ready to kill for the slightest provocation. In fact, he turned out to be very patient. I'm even ashamed to make fun of him, thought Karen, carefully looking into the general's eyes. Born into an imperial family and disguised as a man. How many hardships she must have gone through to develop such a character. She can't be trusted by anyone. She trembles over every next move, thought Linus, looking at the back of the departing girl. She had a hard time, and I made her feel even more miserable. She probably fell in love with me, but I can't take responsibility for that. As atonement, I must protect her. Since the general felt sorry for the girl, he went in search of her. Karen was sitting on the floor of the terrace. "Your Majesty, it's cold on the floor and you must be tired. Let me help you back to your room," Linus offered. Karen looked at him irritably. She was tired of fighting him. He seemed impenetrable to her. Even now, she's trying to seduce me. She seems to have a real crush on me. Unfortunately, I don't like her, but I still shouldn't hurt her feelings. I should be more gentle to her. Linus thought to himself. Linus picked up the emperor in his arms and carried him to his room. He promised himself that no matter what happened, he would always be there for the emperor and help her. Now Linus understood many of the girl's actions. He held no grudges against her.